Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking a look at the new Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette. You know, I just realized, hold on, I'm gonna put some other earrings on. That's better. You know, we got the lightning bolt between the eyes. Might as well put the lightning bolts on my lobes. We'll take a look at swatches and doing all four looks in the palette. It's divided by columns and each column is a different look. And since I'm such an expert at doing multiple look videos by now, I decided why not just put it all in one video. Timestamps will be down below to skip over to any portion you want to see or not see. And without further ado, friends, let's roll in. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Alicia and Kinky Sweat is what I refer to my kinky hair and sweat life. I am a fitness professional here at NYC. Not only do I teach classes and just love to help people move better, but I just love beauty. My daily movement musings can be found on Instagram, and all my class updates with times and locations can be found on my website. Charlotte Tilbury, eh? This was an impulse buy. It was an impulse buy. I was saying I'm trying to buy less makeup. There's some things I definitely have my eye on and just need to grab. I thought this would be one of them, and everyone I feel is very curious about its performance, how the shades work, how they go together, and all that stuff. I feel people are very curious about this palette because the colors are very punchy, and she does have her quad palettes that have some colorful shadows. Like the green one is the one from the top of my head that I can remember that's the most punchy in terms of color story. A lot of it is very nude, mauve, and neutral in tone. I don't have a lot of Charlotte Tilbury. There was one point in my life where I totally went crazy and bought so much Charlotte Tilbury makeup at Barney's, or was it Bergdorf? It was one of those places. Should never have done that. Tried a bunch of her makeup, and I think I was just very overwhelmed with how much I bought and couldn't really formulate an opinion about it. What I can say is that Charlotte Tilbury makeup is all about luxury makeup, but that's easy to use. A lot of her makeup is designed in terms of the construction of it, with like overlays to say to put this eyeshadow on first and this eyeshadow on second. It guides you through with the cheek blushes as well. You put this color on the middle and that other color on the rest. It's actually very helpful, and I like that about the line. The only other eyeshadow palette I have from Charlotte, well, I do have another one that I got it from Bergdorf's. It's like somewhere in my drawer somewhere. It's the Stars in Your Eyes eyeshadow palette. I actually quite enjoyed this one. I thought it performed very well. The colors are gorgeous. They definitely look better in person than they do online. When I initially saw this online, I wasn't too excited about it, but when I actually bought it, or rather when I saw it in person, swatched it, tried it on, I was like, oh, I like you. And again, she has the overlays over the shadows that indicates which one to apply first, second, and third, so you kind of know how to apply your shadows. And the Icon palette is the same thing. When we crack into this, you'll see the overlay, and she divides it into 4 different columns. Before we roll into these swatches, let's get into these details, man. I pulled it on the Sephora website. I also have the Charlotte Tilbury website on standby just for extra info. This palette is limited edition, 12 shades for intensely pigmented electric eye looks to take you from day to date to diva to disco. So thoughtful. This product is also cruelty-free. This eyeshadow palette is made in Italy, and it has a 30-month recommended shelf life. What are in these shadows, Charlotte? That's a long time, so okay, we have some time with this palette. Here's a close-up of the box. I think this color story is extraordinary. I mean, I'm a sucker for lightning bolts, as you probably could have already told. And here is the actual palette. The lightning bolt has like a holographic strip between the blue and the pink. That's really cool. You got your Charlotte Tilbury logo on the center of the bolt, and these beautiful eyes that are just very graphic in nature, and the design I feel is really cool. And the rest of the palette is the typical Charlotte Tilbury like rose gold metallic shiny finish. It has a snap closure. Just make sure you open that without breaking your nails. And here, so you can see, is the overlay with the instructions that indicates which column is for what eye. Nice size mirror. I like how it goes edge to edge. I think that's ideal for travel and just for doing your whole face as well as the eyes. Here are the shades up close. I'm actually really excited about this. I swatched a few colors in Sephora and I was like, oh, not bad at all. The shade names are indicated again by their roles. So you have Day Eyes Prime, Day Eyes Enhance, and Day Eyes Smoke. So let's go column by column and we'll get into the swatches. Oh, and this palette is $65. This one was like $75. Charlotte ain't cheap. Although the price tag is very high, she wants to make the experience and the application a lot more approachable for the consumer. Day Eyes Prime is a light white. Day Eyes Enhance is a amber honey. That's nice. That's pretty. Day Smoke is scarlet. Ooh, this appears to be like one of the two mattes in the palette, and these two are like shimmery, but they feel very smooth and the color looks extraordinary. I love the opacity in that. First one in the Date Eyes column, we have Prime 1 for Date, and that's a gold shade. Ooh, this is the one that has like a little more shimmer to it. It got a little more sparkle. I love that. Date Eyes Enhance. It just says antique in the description. I mean, that's like a rich copper shade. Look how gorgeous that is. Smooth, the texture is gorgeous. Oh, this is gonna be a fun video. Date Eyes Smoke is a gold bronze. That feels incredible. That's your Date Eyes trio, my friends. Ooh, now we're going into the Diva column. Diva Prime is a champagne shimmer. Ooh, that's pretty. Diva Enhance is a burnt gold. Ooh, that's nice. I love that. Diva Smoke, which is the last matte out of the palette, and we have a rich auburn. Ooh, I like that. Very simple, beautifully soft. Could blend out any of these shades in here. I like it. Disco Prime. That's quite the prime shade. Green Shimmer. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that a lot. Ooh, I did this in store. Wait for it. This is the Disco Enhance. It just says blue, but look at this blue. Look at that freaking blue. Oh my heavens. That is a gorgeous color. The texture feels amazing. Oh, it feels more like a satin rather than like the other metallic shades that came in like the gold and the bronze tones. Lastly, we have Disco Smoke. And this says it's just a black, but it's the same texture as the blue shade. Ooh, man, that's gorgeous. Here are all the swatches for the Icon palette. You have your Day Eye, your Date Eye, your Diva Eye, and your Disco Eye. So, of course, we're going to use all these shades in the order that they are presented, get into the eye looks, see what we think at the end, and we'll take it from there. And with all that said, lids already prepped with the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use concealer in the shade Natural Beige. I didn't powder down, but I'm gonna have to rezhuzh it a little bit because it creased a little bit. I had to take a phone call before I started filming, so that's why it looks a little old. So I'm gonna rezhuzh the lid with my MAC 195. How I like to do my multi-look videos is do one eye on camera, come back with the full look done, and move on to the next. I'm sorry that I'm not doing both at the same time. It just saves me time in doing one at a time. How many times did I say time? Good job. Let's start with the Day Eye. We'll go in with the prime shade. I actually saw some of her YouTube videos and she uses her fingers a lot. And what I noticed also is that she'll use the same color but a different brush to lay on more pigmentation and more saturation, which is really cool because I feel it makes it easier for the user to learn as well. Taking my Hakuhodo J22C, going in with the prime shade and then just putting that all over my lid. Really nice color. I love how soft it is. It applies really easily. I mean, that's great as just a single lid color if you wanted to stop there. But I'm also going to bring this under my lash line. I might have to do it on the inner corner as well. Might as well, because this will be like the perfect shade to apply on the inner corner for any of the columns, I feel. All right, that was pretty easy. Cool. Now we'll go in with the enhanced shade for Day. I don't exactly know what she means by enhanced, but what I'm assuming is that she's gonna place it maybe more on the outer corner and deeper into the crease. Is that what she means? Are you guys too light? Oh, that's a little better. I'm just placing this in my crease because to me, anything that you put there automatically enhances the eye look. So that's what we'll do. That's what we got first. I really love how the shimmer shades blend. They're really easy to use. I don't have any fallout as well. So that is the enhanced shade on top of the prime shade. Now let's go into the Day Smoke shade. Oh, by the way, I'm using a Sonia J crease number 2. I'm gonna pat that down on the outer V and just slowly start pulling that into the crease and slightly out from the V. I'm also pulling it under the lash line as well. Not bad. These are really easy to manipulate and blend, and I find despite that we apply 2 shimmer shadows first before the matte, I don't think the matte looks overly chunky or overly sparkly at all. Like, the shimmer shades did not disrupt the texture of the matte. It all looks blended together. Typically, I would apply the matte shade first and then go in with the shimmers after, but you know what? I guess her formula is designed that you could apply these in whatever order and it's going to be fine in the end. Really easy to manipulate. Not too bad. She also likes to apply liner, but I think I'm going to save that step for the Date and Diva Eye, so we'll stay tuned for that. For now, I'll apply some mascara and I'll be right back. Here is the finished look, friends. I applied Pat McGrath's Fetish Eyes mascara on top and bottom lashes. Did the second eye with, of course, the same colors we saw in the demo. Here's a little bit of a wider shot on the lips. I have the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. I wanted to keep it glossy because since this was just a day look, I wanted to keep the lips as simple as possible. But here are the eyes look with all 3 colors on lid, crease, and inner corner. I really love this as a day eye. I think the matte shade is a beautiful tone. It's not completely brown. It's more like a plummy type of brown. I dig it, and it blended very well with the shimmer shades I applied first. And also, if you want more impact from any of these, in the description, technically you could apply these to not only your eyes, technically you could apply these not only to your eyes but your lips and cheeks. You could probably apply this as a highlighter on the cheekbones. Why not? Let's do it. Going in with my Sonia G Detail Pro in with the Day Prime shade, and let's just see how that goes as a little bit of a highlight. Oh, that's pretty. I love that. And just for kicks, let's apply the Enhanced shade from the Day column to our lip gloss. Oh, that's fun. It gave a little bit of a metallic glow to the center of my lip. Okay, multifunctional, yes. Beautiful shadow, beautiful look. And again, if you wanted a little more impact from the shadows, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, you could apply these wet. You could use a smaller brush if you want a little more impact. For instance, I used my pinky for the prime shade to get a little more shine on the inner corner, and that's what you do either with your finger or you could wet a pencil brush to get that impact. Let me know what you think down below, friends, and let's move on to column number 2, the Date Eye. You know, I just realized I didn't take a photograph of my day eye. I'm sorry if the thumbnail is misleading, friends, but I had to put something in the 4th box. I'm so stupid. Anyway, now this is really trippy. The prime color is like the metallic gold shade, which is kind of strange for me to apply a shadow of that texture first. But you know, if that's what Charlotte designed it to do, let's do it. I'm applying a little more Born This Way Too Faced multi-use in natural beige around the perimeter of my lash line because I just saw on camera that looked a little bare. I'm actually going to take the Date Prime shade on my finger and just apply that on the lid. The shine on this is really beautiful. I'm not getting too much fallout, but this is definitely one of the shadows that has a little more glitz to it, and I feel probably will be better to apply with the finger on a tackier base just so those particles can stick. All right, the prime lid, the prime is on. I'm taking my Sonia G Builder 3, same shade now on the lower lash line. Taking the Date Enhanced shade with my Sonia G Crease Pro, but now more on the actual crease and outer corner. This is really pretty with that gold shade. Pulling it slightly under my lash line as well. Now here's the trippy part. The Smoke shade is the lightest shade out of the column. Ish, I guess on par with the gold. That's the one she recommends to smoke with. Interesting. I'm going to take that color but place it on the inner third just to kind of see what it does. Maybe if I applied on the perimeter of the Enhanced shade, will it do something fun? Oh, there it is. It's like I'm giving myself a sunset eye. I'm gonna place it under the lash line as well. Whoa. All right, do I look like I'm going on a date? Taking the prime color, but now on the inner corner. On my Zoeva 234, but spritz with Max Fix Plus, that same prime color on the inner third to get a little more shine up in there. All right, friends, I am going to apply mascara, do the other eye, and we'll be right back. Date Eye complete, friends. Applied Fetish Eyes again from Pat McGrath Labs on the upper and lower lashes. And here you have Date Eye using all 3 shades from that column. half-ish wide shot just to give you a little bit more room to see the look from this angle. On the lip, I have Bronze Avidity from Mother Pat. And I love how this turned out as well. I think the gold metallic shade really makes the look pop. And I thought it'll be fun to why not apply the gold shade on top of Bronze Divinity on my finger. Ooh, that's pretty, especially with this lip gloss because there are gold flecks in the formula. So it definitely brings out the gold in the lip gloss more when I apply that shade on top. I like it. All right, my friends, that is the Date Eye. Let me know what you think down below. Let's move into the Diva Eye. Wow, the Diva Eye. Taking the Prime Diva shade with my Hakuhoro J22C. And on the lids, I have again the Born This Way Multi-Use Concealer shade in the Natural Beige. Beautiful shade. The camera did not do it justice. It's very shiny, very sparkly. Diva Enhanced shade with my Sonia G Crease 2. I'm just taking a guess in terms the other demos as well. The placement of an enhanced shade according to Charlotte. I don't really know what that means, but I'm just gonna go for it. Putting that on the lower lash line as well. Starting to shape it out a little bit. Okay, now in with the Smoke shade. Same brush, and this is a matte. I really love how these shadows move on the skin. They're very easy to blend, and especially the metallic or shimmer shades. I don't remember the description outlining the different finishes in this palette. I know there's a distinct difference between the more sparkly finishes versus like the more low-key ones. And inevitably, the shimmery shades are going to mix some with the mattes, but it works with the eye. It makes it fun, it makes it sparkly. It doesn't really ruin the texture. Like, see here, despite the fact that I applied a matte on top of that metallic shade, I feel it still looks rather smooth. Taking the Diva Prime shade with my Wayne Goss number 7, spritzed on some Fix Plus. Apply that to the inner corner. Same brush, but with the enhanced shade, Max Fix Plus on the inner third. Wipe my brush and now just pulling the prime shade from the inner corner toward the inner lid a little bit more. I'm taking a smaller brush to now make the lid pop. So after you've applied all your shadows from the column, you can go back with different brushes. You could use a setting spray just to kind of enhance portions of the eye that you want to come more forward. If you want to, let's say, bump up the intensity of the matte, you would take a packer brush. This is the Sonia G Builder 3, and the design of the brush will allow more color to be placed on the skin and therefore will create a little more smoke if you want it. Taking it also on the tip of the brush to outline the outer third of my lower lash. For funsies, we're going in with the Ardency in Monster eyeliner in the shade Coffee. I'm really bad at this, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to outline, of course, the lash line, but I'm trying to make like a faux wing. I saw this on her video and the makeup artist was like killer at this. Taking my Hakuhoro J242 and now smoking out the pencil but pulling it more out to create like that soft wing. Not too bad. It's not really crazy, but I like how it looks. All right, friends, let's do the other eye, apply lashes this time, and I'll be right back. Look number 3 completes the Diva Eye. Lashes are Lily lashes in the style NYC. I know it's a lot. It's a lot for these eyes, but I couldn't help myself. My other ones were dying. Here are how the lids look. I'm digging how these shadows are blending and ending up looking, friends. Slightly wider shot of the eyeshadow, friends. Also with Los Angeles from Pat McGrath's Luxe Trance line, topped with her For Real Liquid Lust Gloss. And also, I really love how the eyeliner just added a little more smokiness to the lash line. You're more than welcome to just apply mascara to the Diva Eye column. If you want to apply lashes to any of these looks we've done thus far, go right ahead. And I know these tones look very similar in nature, and I'm sure when I put all the photographs together, I'll see the nuanced differences, but we'll go further into that in the final thoughts portion, because now we're gonna wrap it up with the Disco Eye. See you there. Back in with this Disco Eye. Still got some of that leftover shadow from the previous look. What's going on there, Alicia? I saw the video on YouTube demonstrating using these 3 shadows, and interestingly enough, she put the prime shade second. We're gonna go in with the hand shade, which is the blue. Lids again are prepped with the Born This Way Multi-Use Concealer in the shade Natural Beige. In with the enhanced disco shade with my Sonia G Worker 2. Oh, this blue is smooth. I like it. Just pulling it somewhat into the crease. Not bad, friends. I love how that looks. I love actually how it lays down on the skin. Has really nice glide. Taking Sonia's Builder 3 with the same enhanced shade under the lash line. Wet the brush. Same shade, just to punch up the shine and the color a little bit more. Taking the prime shade on my finger and lightly tapping it on top of the blue one. So it gives a little more dimension, a little more shine on the center of the lid, which I like. Now using my Sonia G Crease Pro with the Smoke Disco shade, I'm basically going to shape this out to my usual V, but relying on the black to create that depth. Got a little bit of fallout, but it's all good. This black shade is more like a satin, but I like how it moves. It's moving really nicely. Pulling it slightly under the lower lash line to connect. Taking my Hakuhodo J5522, not with any additional shadow, but I'm further feathering out the edges of the smoke shade. Taking a little bit more on my J5522 and just filling up any gaps that I might see happen from that smoke out. Taking my Builder 3 with the enhanced shade and filling up the crease a little bit more. My MAC 195, what I use to apply my concealer, I'm just cleaning up the top of that shadow. Then I'll go back in to further blend the edges. Taking the prime shade with my Wayne Goss number 7, wet it, and applying that to the inner corner. Using my finger to just feather out the edges of that application. Again, just cleaning up a little bit near the brow. You're more than welcome to use the other champagne gold-like shades in here for your inner corner. I'm just keeping it exclusively to the column just so we can see how we could utilize the prime shade as like maybe a highlighter shade. It goes well in this particular situation because the shadow is so rich in terms of the blue that applying like a green for the inner corner highlight is not going to interfere. All right, friends, let's do the other eye. Apply these lashes and I'll be right back. Final look complete, friends. The disco eye. Applied the same style lily lashes in NYC. Fetish eyes on the lower lashes. On the lips, we have Los Angeles again from Pat McGrath Luxe Trans line, topped with her Full Real Liquid Luxe gloss. Slightly wider shot of how the eyes look. Yes, I feel like I'm going to the disco for sure. And there's the final look, friends. I dig this palette. I really do. Moving into my final thoughts, I know the price tag is high. $64 for 12 shadows is a lot of money. You have to decide if you feel like her formula is worth that. I do. I find it outstanding actually that she's managed to create these sparkly types of textures, especially the ones on the top row and the center row as well, that they could look shiny on the lid, that they have that sparkle, that glitz, but they blend very nicely with each other. And especially when you bring the matte shade into the picture, whether it's from the Day column or the Diva column, they work incredibly well with the metallic shades. Like, it doesn't look rough on the skin. It doesn't look overly textured. It just, as it says, enhances and smokes the look to make it appear a lot more cohesive. Now, in terms, if you were to compare it to the Stars in Your Eyes, the Stars in Your Eyes has a lot more neutral shades as well as the beautiful purpley, or I should say like mauvey rosy tones here at the end of the palette. If you want that pop of color and the opportunity to dive into blues and greens, then definitely take on the Icon palette. I think you'll just have more of an opportunity to play with color. Now, if you took this column away, these shades look very similar. I totally get it. But because I did the looks individually, I could see and experience the differences in tones and nuance. The matte shade here is definitely a little more plum in nature, whereas this is a more like neutral, almost warm terracotta brown. And this shade, although they look similar back to back though, this is a lot more coppery orange than the center shade, which is a lot more like a very pinky copper. The gold is just gold. It doesn't look like the champagne-y shade, nor does it look like the more bronzy gold shade. And it's funny because after I did my Pat McGrath series and shopped in my stash, I definitely will still shop in my stash and do 3 looks with shadow palettes that I already had. I also understand when building a channel that you have to sometimes bite the bullet and feature new released products. I think there's a lot of excitement surrounding this palette because it's Charlotte Tilbury. She has the pops of colors in here. I think this is the first 12 pan design for her collection. She has her quads and she has her eye pots that are more cream in texture. This has 12 shades, but it's a different design. I like the squares versus like the long rectangles. That's just a preference of mine. And you have a lot of play opportunities in here. You most certainly do not have to follow her column guidance. I mean, it's just there to help the user figure out, okay, what shade do I put on first and where. I think it is very helpful that she has the overlay that kind of outlines what shade to use first and where to put it. Totally helpful. I get it. You could certainly jump around if you wanted to use maybe this column on the top lid and maybe some of this column on the bottom lash line only. Make it half and half. If you needed to apply the blue on the lid and wanted to apply this shade on the inner corner instead. And although maybe we could have used like a deeper matte for deeper skin tones to actually show up as a smoke shade, that's probably one of my critiques about the palette, that the mid and light tones are beautiful, but if you are a deeper skin tone, if you happen to pick this up, let me know down below. Are you having luck with these mattes? Are they showing up as something on the lid? Can you use it as a smoke shade, or maybe it is more of a like an enhancer type of shade? If you don't have any Charlotte Tilbury at all and you're looking to get eyeshadows from her, I would get the Icon palette. I wouldn't get the quads because I just feel if you're gonna drop the dollars on Charlotte Tilbury, like drop it when it counts and just get more shades to play with, and you don't have to worry about picking up more quads. That's what I would do. I have a quad and I rarely use it because I like eyeshadow palettes. I like that I could travel with them and create different looks, whether it's more neutral or more neutral smoky, or in this case more blue and green. You just have more opportunity in the Icon palette, and I was very impressed with the formula. I didn't have any issues at all with these shadow looks. I thought they blended well. Again, very impressed with the texture of the shadows and how well they play with each other. I didn't get an immense amount of fallout on my face, especially the blue shade and the black shade were perhaps the two shades that I had a little bit of fallout, and they wasn't even that extreme. Brushed it away, my skin was fine. It didn't affect the under eye area whatsoever. And the fact that she makes it so easy to use and the colors are saturated. You saw those shades. They're very soft, but they're shiny too, and they have a lot of body to them, but they move well. They don't get stuck on the lid. They're not so pigmented that they just feel heavy. You could use any brush with these, whether it's synthetic or natural. I think they play well with a lot of brush types, a lot of brush designs. If you have Hakuhodo, Wayne Goss, Sigma, Luxie, Zoeva, I think you won't have any problems with this formula with any brushes that you have. Regardless, I appreciate the formula of these shadows, and I understand that they are expensive. They are made in Italy. I do think there is something special about her formula. I experienced in the Icon palette, and I also experienced it in the Stars in Your Eyes palette. Now, this is more like a first impressions. I'm just getting my thoughts out on the palette from applying it 4 times on my poor eyeballs. What I did find from her Stars in Your Eyes palette is that the longevity is not as great as Pat's, especially the sparkly shades. The sparkle and glitz does not last beyond like 6 hours, I feel. So I will get back to you on that maybe on a March favorites video, just so I have the rest of the month to try the palette, to keep the shadow on for long hours, to see how well it upholds, especially not only the sparkly shades but the mattes and like the metallic shimmery ones. Let's see how those hold on to the lid. Let me know, friends, if you picked up the Icon palette, what you think of it, any comparisons that you made with your other Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palettes, the quads, the Stars in Your Eye palettes, and the first one she released, I forgot the name of it. And we'll take it from there. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another chit chat, demo, tutorial, or review, or 4 look video. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.